Welcome, everybody. We are on full screen, so everybody can see us. I just want to welcome everybody here today, all our members and non-members joining in for today's special event. Today we're talking about Voices of the 21st Century. We sent you an email yesterday, and this is really an opportunity for you to go, what is this? to kind of get your questions answered. So I would encourage you, please put your questions in the chat below. We will start looking at those. If we don't get to them on the call, we'll definitely be coming through and answering for you. But this is an opportunity to get to know some of our authors, to hear from their experience, how they're using the book, and really to address some things that I hear as we're speaking through the community, which are things like, I'm not ready, my story doesn't really matter, who's going to read my story, I'm not a writer, so we want to really tackle some of these things, put them together, and really let you know that your story does matter, but let you know through the voices of our best-selling authors that are here with us today. So if you don't know me already, my name is Gayle Watson. I'm president and CEO of Women Speakers Association, and each year we produce a book called Voices of the 21st Century. Does everybody here have their book? You want to hold up your book? Because you're all authors in that book. That's awesome. And this book, just so you know, we're coming onto our 4th edition, and it started from, actually I was sitting at my kitchen table with my son working on a project, and the project was to research women of the early 1900s. Okay, so as we went through and researched, I found that we got to find out what women, what they did for work, but we didn't get to know them. And what I do know about women today, and speaking to each and one of you, is that we are multifaceted individuals. We are running families, we are running homes, we are running businesses, we are authors, we're speakers, we're experts, we're putting out our voice, we create change. We are at the forefront of actually leading that change. And this is when, at the time of that book, I thought, you know what, people have got to get to know our stories, not on just our stories, they've got to get to know us. Who are these crazy women of the 21st century, right? That can do all this big balancing act. As we fast forward to our 4th edition, we are really finding the difference that these books are making in people's lives. We hear it continually, and how it's changing people's lives, from the authors who share their stories to the people reading their stories. And that's what's the most important. So we will, on this, during our time here today, we'll dive deep into that. But before we do, I'd love to just hear from some of our authors right now as to what their experience was with, and we'll start with Vivian, because Vivian has to depart shortly from our group here. So Vivian, you were in our last Voices, correct?
Yes, correct.
And just share with us, why you went in and what has it done for you?
Sure. So I got to say, this was a great opportunity. I have this big, bodacious goal of having 12 best-selling books. And so when I saw this opportunity, I was like, oh, this is an opportunity to get down to 11, right? And really work with some phenomenal women from across the world. I run a coding franchise, I'm part of a franchise, and we teach kids how to code. What I've learned through this process is that a lot of girls weren't participating, or they were shy, or didn't think that they were good enough. And so when I thought about what type of a message that I wanted to get out there, the chapter title, No Girl Left Behind, literally jumped in my head. That this was a message that I wanted to get out, that girls can be part of STEM, right? That girls' voices should be heard. And then I talked about some of the things that I use already, right, to really enhance and encourage girls to participate in STEM activities like our mentoring groups and our girls group. And so that's what my chapter was about. I think one of the best things about this whole thing is that you may think that you're not ready to be a writer. You may think that this isn't a good time. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic, right? But what I'll say is that this is the best time, because you just don't know what life can bring. And if you have a message inside, tell it to the world.
Yes.
I think when you look at this entire world, I think everybody has a message, and somebody somewhere can learn and be better as a result. So I would definitely jump on this opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Vivian. That is, in the work that you do with young women is amazing. So I want to really thank you for that, and just really sharing that voice. And when you talk about, I'm not a writer, that's one of the big benefits of work in this type of experience. Yeah. You are working with a professional publishing team. We have a copy editor, and her role.
She's awesome.
She is awesome, right? Claudia, yay, Claudia.
Yes. Claudia.
Claudia works one-on-one with you, helping you with your chapter, doing all those grammar, and perhaps offering some new words to use. She's phenomenal, and she really helps that your message come through with the clarity. So when it comes to, I'm not a writer, she does a great job at really showcasing your message.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, beautiful to work with. Awesome. Well, thanks, Vivian. Now, we've had authors that have chose to come in this book multiple times. Like I said, and starting with our record holder, JJ Sawyer. JJ, let's get to know you and why you are choosing to come into these books.
Well, I'm going to have to play off Vivian, because I think that she makes a very good point. A lot of us don't think that someone needs to hear our story, and you would be amazed at the women that will learn and grow from your story. But I'll tell you why I got involved. I didn't want to do it on my own. And to be a part of this book, you're with 50, 40 other women. You have a team that's sitting right here, 2 of them. Mm-hmm. Right here, Laura and Gayle. And then, of course, you mentioned Claudia, and Karen. And of course, Karen's assistant, Sarah, is amazing. So you're not doing it on your own. Then we have this base camp, and all the resources that you need are right there. When you start this week, you got to do this, and it's already written for you, and the pictures are already there, so you don't have to market it on your own. And then when you get your book with your name on it, and you know the work that went into this, and then on the back you get featured with Gayle. When I touched this book, I couldn't believe what it did for me. It built my confidence. You have to get involved. It's just that simple. And then you'll have all the support you need. So you won't be on your own, and you'll get to meet all these women from all over the world and have conversations just like this. It's not a video, it's actual people talking to you, supporting you, holding your hand if you need it. It's been an amazing opportunity. And so that's why I wanted to get involved with Voices For, because I just can't let you guys go. I have to do that.
So that team approach, because this is a collaborative book, and what that means, if you don't already know, if you're watching this, is we share everything together. We share the costs of producing a book like this. We share the marketing and promotion. That's how we're able to achieve the various levels of achievement awards that we get with the book. But more importantly, when we share, we build a community. And JJ, if I can hear, that's what you're saying. It's, you're building relationships with people, and that's a big thing. And right now I'm having more and more conversations with people who are really feeling alone. And then our theme word is isolation in the world. And this is far from being isolated. It is an absolutely handhold. We're getting some nice comments in the Facebook group. And Janine Rivers Colburn, who is also one of our authors, is like, we are fearless women. We are doing it. That's right, Janine. So, Johnny, let's get to know you. And you've been in a couple of these books, and how are they working for you?
Well, it's really interesting because I agree with what Vivian said, and of course what JJ has said. But however, the reason that I got started, honestly, was I had already self-published a book, but I was looking for a tribe. I was looking for a group of people that were powerful, bodacious, bold, and headed in the direction that I desired to go. And I found that tribe in WSA. And then when this offer was done, I said, oh my gosh. And it was on my checklist to be an international bestseller. And I thought that was years away. I thought, I had to cut off 3 arms and 2 legs or something. And none of that had to happen. None of that had to happen. Because you're with this team of people that, number one, that we're going in the same direction. Number 2, to encourage people that your voice does matter. Now, even if when I didn't think my voice or my story mattered to me, I said, oh, that's just something I went through. When I put it in the book and people looked at it and they said, oh my gosh, I didn't know you went through that. It became, because I'm a speaker, so it became part of my story on stage. It became part of the connectivity because people look at you where you are and don't know where you've been. Mm. So that is going to encourage people, especially during this time of crisis or any time of crisis. When you look at the stories that are in these books, it can't help but encourage you. It can't help but cause you to grow. It can't help but do that. So to do that with this great group of women was really amazing. Now, what I also said, is that this is bigger than you. Remember that what you have to offer is bigger than you. Don't stay in a place where most people wouldn't say it's selfish and keep your story to yourself. The world needs your story. There's some young woman out there, there's some mother, there's some person out there that needs to hear that it's possible to get on the other side of whatever you've been through. And the other thing is to add value to my life, and it gives you credibility. And that was the other thing for me. Is a big thing is that your story matters, and to give you credibility. And when you see as a team that you go through this whole segment and learn, and that's the other thing that I really love about the group, is that it's not like somebody telling you to check off a block. You actually have training sessions so that this knowledge that you gain by being with the group, you will forever have it. It will help you in every aspect as you continue to write books, as you continue to tell your story. And the other thing I loved, if I could just take another second and talk about the 1,000 word, you know what I'm saying? If you sit down and write I don't know anybody else with 1,000 words. I said, I can't write 1,000 words. And the next thing I know, I said, how do I get it down? Get it down to 1,000 words. And then to have the people to say, you know what, Johnny, this is great information. This is what I recommend that you leave in, and this is what I recommend that you take out. So it's not like I lost the authentic part of me. My part in the section is absolutely authentically me. It speaks to where I've been, and it speaks to other people. And that's the value. This opportunity, you can't afford to miss because it's priceless. It's not about, it's not just about where you think you are. It's about where do you believe you're going on the other side of this. And that's the key, to demand of yourself, to think beyond this year and to think into your destiny and your future. This is a priceless opportunity and you can't afford to miss it.
Well, Johnny, you bring up some really good points, and it really struck me when you said that you know, as somebody who's out there, you know, you have your business, you're putting yourself out there, you're sharing your messaging, but this enabled people like a kind of a peek behind the curtain, so to speak, into the world of Johnny Lloyd and who she is. And wow, she seems so polished and together, and nothing ever bad happens to Johnny. And I call her the happiest person on the planet because she's always smiling and laughing and so infectious with positive energy. But yeah, there's been some tough times.
Yeah, the homelessness.
Smile.
You know, the homelessness. People don't know that when you stand in front of them. They don't know your story. Your story is what makes it important for other people. They can connect. That's what it's like.
Right. And to get to know Johnny more and hear the story of homelessness, you just buy her book. Great. There you go. You're in two. Awesome. Thanks so much, Johnny. Okay. Now, when you have this book, as we go through this experience, and we will bring on our project manager, Laura, just shortly here, but when we go through this experience, it is about, you can kind of visualize in your mind, it's a 3-part experience. Right now, we are about writing and sharing our stories, and you have the opportunity to submit a story. You have up till September 15th to get that story, and that's the deadline. So, and right now we have writing workshops or support writing groups to help you out with that. When we fast forward, this book is coming out. Our next Voices of the 21st Century is launching in February, the end of February. And in the new year, we will begin training, like learning how to do our international best-selling author campaign. So if you've never been a part of it, it's a really interactive experience and you learn a lot. And in the middle, in the fall time, where we're going September, October, November, December, that is about us connecting as a unit, as a group of authors, to get to know one another, get to know our stories, but also to learn and to be trained on how to use this book. Because it's one thing sharing your story, it's another thing to get it out into the places that you want it to be. Now, thankfully, you go on this journey with some other ladies that will be out there sharing the book and getting it out. And that's all of a sudden your story does go around the world. But we're also we want to share with you to go, well, I have this book. Now what? What do I do with it? So one person that is exceeding was just recently launched, and our last book we launched in May, we published in May. Lucky Lordson from Langley, British Columbia, Canada, has been doing tremendous work right now. So Lucky, why don't you share a bit of who you are and what are you doing with this book?
Thank you, Gayle. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here with all the other ladies with the book, and it was pretty exciting to be a part of this book. I never imagined that I would be a best-selling author ever. I have been writing for many years, and I think I was so fearful of going out and putting out a book. And that's what made it so much easier for me, was to be with a group and go out together with 40 women, and it seemed to make the process so much easier. But the way this book, I've been using this book actually, to leveraging the book, is I use it as a business card. It's one of the ways that I introduce myself to potential customers. And what I've found is that I've had such a positive response. And so for my business, it has helped me quite a bit. I provide training solutions for businesses and organizations that provide products and services for seniors. And what many of my customers are large corporations and groups. And many of them have internal libraries for their employees. And others are retailers that actually sell books as one of their products. So I found by introducing myself and leading with the book, it opened the door a lot easier and a lot faster, because those of us in business know it's really difficult to get to decision makers. So when you introduce the book, and especially if you're a local author, there is so much support. They really want to help and support you. So once the door is open, not only are you making sales, they're purchasing your books, you've now established a relationship with them. And now they open the next door for my training to now look at, they know who I am. They know that I'm in a book. They know that I have some credibility now. And so they're very open to talking about, now they're excited to hear what my training is. So I found, wow, that was a total difference than a year ago when I was knocking on those same doors and I was having a hard time talking to people. Now those doors are being opened for me. So it's you know, I can't say enough about, you know, the difference of having a book. There's a big difference, and it will increase your business tenfold. So very important to think about this.
That's awesome, Lucky. And turning that book as a business, and all our training is led by, or the majority of our training is led by Charmaine Hammond, who specializes in this area and is a rock star and really does a fantastic job with her own books and helping others. So Lucky, I've been seeing you on Facebook. I've been seeing you've done some, I mean, we launched in the heart of pandemic, phase 1 lockdown. As restrictions opened up, I seen you in backyards with doing book signings or readings with book clubs. Can you explain just a little bit what was going on with that?
Well, you know, to be honest, I was really scared that we were launching during the pandemic. I was, and I wasn't sure how people would accept this. But then when I started thinking about the type of stories that are in the book, it actually was the perfect time to launch it. And it was the perfect time to start talking about it. And what I did was, I think the way that I promoted the book was soft. You know, I didn't go hard promoting it. I was soft with, you know, people that I have relationships with. Those people got so excited, they started promoting the book for me. And that started a whole chain of events happening. So it was really interesting. I introduced it to my book club, which was the coolest thing ever, to bring your own book to your book club and then have that as a reading. That kicked off other book clubs wanting friends that were in other book clubs that said, hey, our book club wants to read this book as well. And I think you just have to be not afraid to start putting yourself out there, because the purpose is that I'm trying to make a difference with my message as well as all the other women in the book. So I think it's doing a disservice not to get out there and to promote the book. So now I get excited. I take pictures anytime I was at Black Bond Books yesterday. I'll be posting that. And they wanted to take a picture under the sign of Black Bond. And I have a sign where it says, new or local author, brand new book, and they've got it posted right there. So it's really exciting. So it's important to share that with people.
Oh, you're so awesome. So thank you so much, Lucky, and I love following your journey and what you're doing out there. Now, there's a myth when you're part of a collaborative book that you go, well, I'm just one of 40, I'm one of 40 stories, I'm one of 50 stories. What's it gonna do for me? And so one of the things that we do focus in on is, why is my screen not turning here? But one of the things we focus in on is our custom cover. Oh, there's my green screen. Not wondering, Lucky, could you hold up your book, or Johnny? Yeah. So if we take a look at this book, you can see that just down below, you have your name on the front cover. Okay, that's key. That is so that you can stand up and say, I am co-author in this book. So when you're reaching out, and introducing yourself, it is your book. If you flip it over, we've got your beautiful picture and bio on the back as well. And this is that part. And then on the spine, let's show our spines, because when this book sits on the shelf, when you see it on the spine, it's just your name. We want you to own this book. We want you to be proud of it. It is your piece, whether you're using it as a marketing tool to get your voice out there, as Lucky described, whether it's to bond together, just leave your legacy in the pages as that voice of the 21st century, we want you to feel that ownership. And that's why we go that extra step to put your name on it, your personal copy. Okay. Thank you, everybody, and for sharing your experiences. Now, this is a handhold experience, as we heard. It's a step by step. Things are taken care of for you. So we do have a project manager, our fearless leader, Laura Rubenstein, who can maybe share with us what she does to drive this bus full of women and take us on this road together.
I am so honored to be a project manager and the book, I like to say book author concierge for Voices, because I love to give, I participated in the very first book and there was no project management. And I said, I begged Gayle, I'm like, we need this. I want to take it on because this is such women's voices. Oh my God, this so aligns with me. If there's one thing I'm passionate about in this world, it's helping women who want to make a difference expand their message and fuel their vision and change the world, because the women of the world are changing the world. We have that power. We need to take it on bigger. And Voices of the 21st Century does that every single year. It gives you the opportunity to do that year over year over year. If you haven't taken advantage of it, whew, why not step into it? If you have a message, if you want to see change in the world, this is like Johnny, you were like spot on. Don't hold back, be bold, be brave, and you don't have to do it alone. That's the brilliant part, because we're going to do this in collaboration. I provide a process. The whole schedule, like JJ, you were saying, is laid out for you. You can put it all in your calendar. You know when to be, where to be, and when we're getting together to collaborate. I've been in other collaboration books, and it's not nearly the community we have here. And so this is more than a book. It's more than just putting your 1,000 words in. You will make it and take it, like what Lucky you did, and Janet, you're doing in your communities, and Johnny and Vivian and all of our authors are doing. And we're going to give you the ideas. And we've even had authors connect and collaborate in their local communities to do book signings and readings. And you'll have the complete structure so that it makes it super easy. It doesn't take a lot of time, but you're going to feel more connected in a community that supports your vision than ever before. I mean, it was a no-brainer for me the very first time I saw this, and I was getting to know women who were making a difference. And then I took that second book and I sat down. This was right when we were launching. We had just become bestseller of the second book, and I started reading the chapters, and I had gone just one night and I was in an okay mood, but by the time I finished reading 2, maybe 3 stories in here, I was a different person. I was a completely different person. My heart was open, my perspective was broadened, my appreciation for other women doing their part and making a difference was inspiring to me. It made me feel like I could do that one more thing, that my message matters, that my work matters just as much too. So I knew that I had to stick with this book and keep going, because of all the women that, if you want to see change in the world, be a part of the change. Step into it. Don't worry if you're ready or not, because we're going to hold, like you said, Gayle, we're going to hold your hand. And we have the writers. You have to put the basic story together, but we're going to make it shine. As Claudia likes to say, she polishes it off, right? And what I did the first book, and we encourage our authors to do this, is as you're getting to know people in that first month or two, you might pick somebody who you resonate with and say, hey, would you read my story before I submit it? And, or I'm having a real tough time with this. And you could do it with somebody in your life. It doesn't have to be an author, but we have a pool of authors that might say, hey, if you read my story, I'll read yours, and give feedback. And I did that with one of the authors, and my chapter came out so much better because she said, well, I really wanted to hear this, and I was confused by that. And those 2 questions helped me, refine my message. And then when it went to Claudia, she just like spiffed it up. And Johnny had the opposite problem. 1,000 words was too short, right? You think it's a long bit. It's like 2.5 pages of a 5x9 book. It's not that much actually. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to capture this? And Claudia just did it. She made it work. She was like, can you take out this? You can take out this. We can combine that, and boom, it was done. Done. So if you want if you feel like you want to expand your message and you want to see a change in the world, then Voices of the 21st Century is leaving that legacy, is helping expand the message, is a way to get it out now and fast. Like Johnny, you were saying, you don't have to wait 3 years, because we're going to get you published as a best-selling author. And it's just another one. And I too have a self-published book. So it was in the beginning, my first thing was, I don't need this. I have a book already, right? But it's more than that. It's a vision and it's a movement. So join us.
Love that, Laura, and you do a really great job, and the experience gets better and better each time.
Thank you.
This book coming up is very special. I really believe that. And 2020 has served us a big year, right? It took us all by surprise in many, many different ways, but has opened the doors for us to challenge the status quo, to bring light to once dark topics, to really come together and look at ourselves and see, how do we want to live now, right? One thing I appreciate about the pandemic is it has leveled the playing field for everybody. No one is immune. We are all people. It is not about our religion. It is not about our race. It is not about our color, where we live in this world. We are women. We have a voice. We have a message inside. And there is no message greater and there is no message less than your gifted message. And that's what I really need you to hear right now. Don't worry that you're not a writer. Don't worry that you're feeling butterflies, but nobody would want to read my story. You have been gifted with the message for a reason, a purpose, and it is to change the life of if it's just one person, that's fine. You've been successful, but it serves no one holding it inside of you. So this is a platform for you to get your voice. This is the opportune time. Our world has been turned right upside down. Our world is coming together, rising of voices, going, enough. We want to create some change in this world. I think it was Johnny, you said it, we get to choose, look ahead. How do we want to live? Who do we want to be? And that's what this is about. Bring it together. Let's bring it together. And it starts with putting yourself in spring of 2021 and being able to go, oh wow, I'm now a best-selling author. I'm holding a physical book, and now I can go start knocking on those doors, as Lucky is doing so beautifully, to start having that impact that story was meant to have. So this is where we want to invite you. I want to open it up to everybody here. If there's anything that is showing up for you right now, any other comments, and I'm getting some questions coming in from the Facebook group, but if anybody here has any comments, feel free.
Can I just say one thing? I just wanted to say that, going through the process of the book, I seriously felt like I went through a transformation, because I don't know who this lucky girl is that's out there selling all these books, because I just feel such a urgency and an importance to get the message out there. And that's how it's become for me. And I think that when people see how passionate that you are, they get so excited about the book as well. But it really, truly is the best experience. And it was the best decision that I made to do this. And in doing it with a group, it was so much more affordable. Being able to go through the process with people that have already done this before. I could have never have done this alone, but having gone it alone now, I have that experience now. Now I know what to expect if I were to go through it again. But I'm so grateful for the experience, and don't sell yourself short. If you're thinking about this, don't even think about it. You just need to do it, because it will be the best decision that you make.
Awesome. Thanks, Lucky.
And this is what I'll say to people to encourage them. Isn't it going to be amazing when the first book that you launch is an international seller? Because Laura and I talked about the fact that we did some self-publishing first, and I think Lucky mentioned as well. However, for your first book, to be with this group, this tribe of people that are supporting you and cheering you on, you can't miss this opportunity. It's transformational. And then the last thing I'll say is this. For those who have an element of fear, because a lot of people write things, but most authors never publish what they write. They write it and they put it in a drawer. Don't be that. Don't take your potential and close up a drawer with that. So transmute, which means convert any fear that you may have to step in, to move forward with this amazing team that's going to rise or raise up your faith. So join us.
You know,
I love it.
I agree with that totally. This book right now, and to get involved in it right now, really is the perfect time, Gayle. You had mentioned that, because we are locked down. We are in our thoughts. And I shared this book with a 90-year-old woman. And I got a letter from her. She said, I'm going to pull all my stories together that I've written over the years. And she's putting them now in chapters. It inspired her to get those stories out that she has written. And she's 90 years old. So if you have anyone out there that's 12 or whatever age you start with, Gayle, all the way up to 90, 95 years old, get involved with this, because it sparked her. And now she feels like, she said to me, she said, I feel like a new life for me. I think that's right there. You know, that was amazing to me.
That's beautiful. And as a voice of the 21st century, it's not about age. It is about
Right.
sharing your story. And we have stories at every single age we go through. And a couple books ago, it was in our Bold, Brave, and Brilliant Women edition, a mother sponsored her daughter to share her story. And that was beautiful. Because that was special, because she saw those messages. And we are at a true defining moment in history where there's going to be some woman, a generation 2, 3 from now, going to be researching women of the roaring 20s of 2000, and they're going to want to know who we were and what we did. And this book is there for them to find, and to find each one of your stories, and so that they can really get to know you and see themselves in your story and go, oh, she did it, so can I. Oh, she was homeless, so am I. And she got through, and she's this amazing, charismatic person and inspiring the world. So this is what it's about. And as we look forward, as we come through 2020, we want to hear your stories. Think about it as leave that mark in this world. What do you want to say? What do you want to share? What do you want to teach? And that's the big important part. Now we have some questions coming in, but I just want to leave you with that. If you're wanting to learn more about this, you can go to voicesofthe21stcentury.com, and you can see all the elements of the experience put together. And just, even if you have questions, simply apply. There's no obligation just for applying, but what that will do is trigger the opportunity for us to go that next step to discuss your story, your idea, and we can do. We do vet the stories. It's not just because you apply when you get in. We are looking for that theme. We have a resilience rising, women's voices rising. We are looking for those stories of inspiration. So, and teachings to make a difference. Thank you, Tracy, for putting that link in there. So I would like to invite you to, we want to get to know some more authors. We have, spots are filling with this opportunity for sure. And we're looking for those remaining special stories that will really make the difference in this next book. I'm really excited about this upcoming book. Super exciting. So is there anything else anybody would like to add?
I'm so excited, Gayle. I can't wait to welcome the new authors, and I promise to take really good care of you and listen to you and to be there for you. So even if you don't have an idea right now, but you're feeling like, gosh, this sounds good, but I don't know what I'd write about, that's what we're here to help you figure out, like from the application process to the brainstorming session we're going to have on Monday with the authors. And you know, I just want to bring you in if you feel like there's something in your soul saying, yeah, this feels like I should be there. I do have something, even if you're not clear on what that something is.
You know, Gayle, I would like to do a shout out to you for listening to Laura when she was involved with that first book and came to you and said, please let me, you know, manage this. Because I think that move that you made, Gayle, on listening to Laura really is what really has put this thing together, where even if you're scared, you're not scared because she's right there with you. So Laura, thanks for speaking up and begging for that opportunity. And Gayle, thanks for listening.
And thanks for being such amazing authors. So to everybody listening today, please pop in your questions. Go to voicesofthe21stcentury.com if you're a little voice inside you is talking and saying this is something you'd like to look at more. We want to talk, get to know you, join this fabulous community of authors. They're amazing women, and I'm looking forward to continuing this journey with everybody. Thank you so much. Wherever you are in this world today, we wish you a great day, to be safe, to be healthy, and most importantly, we want you to be happy. So thank you, everybody. We'll talk with you soon.